All right, we'll call this meeting to order and welcome everyone here on St. Patrick's Day. Looks like we got a lot of green in the crowd, so looks good, except for these gentlemen up here.
Yeah, don't hold it against me.
Yeah, come on, guys.
But I won't tell you what Terry said about where his green is. So
We share the same tattoo. So.
all right, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to start with our opening prayer tonight by Vice Mayor Adam Dixon.
Let us all pray. Dear Lord, we are a little heavy this evening. Been heavy now for the past few days. Here in our town, one of our bright lights has transitioned, and God, in our earthly self, we feel a little down. But God, we are also at the same time very grateful unto you because we had Jimmy Neal Smith for as long as we did, and his star really shined before us, made us better, made us stronger, and we are grateful. And so, God, we still have a reason to thank you because you are, I believe, you are the one who gives life. You are the one who allows us to grow and thrive and evolve. And so, God, we thank you for Jimmy Neal and his presence, his example, his accomplishments. And I would want to believe, God, that you gave him the intelligence, the ingenuity, the innovation, the strength to succeed. And so, God, we thank you for that. We always have a reason to express thanks unto you. God, we are grateful for this community in which we live. We're so grateful for individuals who had a vision way, way long ago. God, we are reaping the dividends from that vision. God, at this particular juncture of our time, God, we, 5 individuals here, have an opportunity to build upon that vision. God, do pray, Lord, for sound mind and balance and wisdom to move in a very positive and productive way. We thank you, God, for the staff of the town of Jonesborough and how they implement these policies that we get to enact and get to move on. Thank you, God, for their ability, and we just ask that you continue to strengthen and guide them. Continue to bless our friends and our neighbors. Guide our deliberations on this evening. God, these and other things, Lord, we ask in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Adam. We'll do our pledge after the rest. We'll continue on with our beer board meeting now. First item on that agenda is approval of the minutes. Alderman, for the beer board. A motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
Second.
Yes, second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey. Aye. Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now, the one item on there is application for on-premises beer license for the Jackson Theater, 121 and 125 West Main Street in Jonesborough. Alderman, you can see what the recommendation is there. Is there any discussion?
I want to know what took Amber so long. Get this done. That's a joke.
I just have a concern. I think that we need to have a policy for Amber to have guidance on who can and can't serve the alcohol or have alcohol. I don't think that we should leave it upon, because I talked to her this afternoon, I don't think she should have to make that decision because of, I just don't. I think we need to have a policy that we need to follow if alcohol's served at the theater.
Is this, so can I ask you a question? Is this a policy that would come from Glenn to clarify for her, or where are you envisioning this policy comes from?
It could come from the Jackson Theater Board, from Mr. Rosenoff or Mr. Wheeler.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, are we expecting this every night we're open, or every day we're open, or is it more on a limited basis?
No, it's nothing like that. Amber, would you, since you're here, would you come up, please?
Yeah, I thought of the same thing, Virginia, that there
Just
needs to
clarify
be-
when you think this
'cause
would
it
be
shouldn't be you
used.
just walk in there and be able to.
Right.
Yes, so I know when we had talked about it, several bar out there, we'd be talking about like wine and beer.
Is that something
the
that
most
you'll put
part.
together and bring back to this board to approve, or what?
Probably not.
I mean, I'm comfortable with the Jackson board. We can share, come up with something, share from the Jackson board with the BMA, and if there's any questions or concerns, we can definitely address them.
I think that's smart, because if there are concerns, it'll be us that asked the question.
Oh,
not the
absolutely.
Jackson.
Yeah, I think the board needs to be looped in on it and
Yeah.
get their opinions, and I personally think it needs to be, as Kelly said, it is part of the business model, but in somewhat be limited, because there is some concern if some places that you go into where it's served almost every day, you do,
Sure.
at some point, hate to say the smell, it won't be popcorn, it'll be
Well,
something else. So.
Well, realistically speaking, if you want a reality check here, we're gonna be leasing the facility to a church on a regular basis. And so you're not gonna have a bar set up out in the middle of the open with a church renting the space. So there are reasonable, common sense constraints here to come into play, and it will be, dealt with, I'm sure, in a reasonable manner, and Amber has done a fantastic, all joking aside, a fantastic job persevering this process. We were granted
Policies would need
a
to be-
alcohol service permit through legislative action for this facility and several others in town, and it is no small feat and no easy task to complete the hurdles required through the many different requirements they have, plus our unique status to get this. So, this is not something to be taken lightly by anybody, especially Amber, or anybody at the Jackson board. And I do think I saw Mr. Rosenoff's name on the application as well, so I'm sure he's not gonna take it lightly, and, have great faith that it'll be dealt with appropriately.
Yeah, and then each one of our staff, we have a couple that are, of course, under 18, but everyone over will have their server permit, and we'll go through the class. I've already done that, and then today Lori Powell, who's our Assistant Operations Manager, completed hers. So everyone will go through that and have their license as well.
Very good.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion, thank you, Amber, I make a motion we approve as presented.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf.
Subject to the policy or
I think,
Policy
I think
brought
you
back to the
have,
board.
I think you have the word of this lady and that gentleman that you're gonna see a policy, so I'm no subject to for me, it's just, approve as presented.
Well,
Subject to means it doesn't go into effect until it happens. They're gonna bring us one, so I'm willing to trust that it'll happen.
Are you obligating them to bring it back to this board?
They've said they're gonna bring it back to this board, they'll bring it back to this board.
Okay. Okay. You gonna make that part of the motion, or? I think you,
he said no.
I said it's not a subject to,
Okay.
so it's, they're gonna bring it back. We obviously we've trusted Glenn to run the town and Amber to run the theater, they'll
Okay.
bring it back,
all right,
so.
you hear the motion,
I'll second it.
got a second? Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey,
Pass.
Alderman Counterman,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon,
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. That'll close our beer board. Now we'll move into a public hearing concerning the annexation of certain property located off Boones Creek Road as part of the reserves at Boones Creek project.
And I'm gonna stand up and go down and sit with all
You didn't get down there.
Now we'll move into our regular meeting, and the next item will be our pledge to the flag now. Ruth, who do you have?
Allison Wilkes,
All right, very good.
let's honor America. I pledge
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Allison. All right, Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Mayor Best,
Here?
Alderman Causey,
Here.
Alderman Counterman.
Here.
Alderman Dixon.
Here.
And Alderman Wolf.
All right, we've got consent agenda. Alderman, is anything on there you wish to have pulled to discuss? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right, got a motion from Alderman Wolf.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Caldermeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, and kind of what was in our consent agenda tonight was, again, our standard committee reports, and, but also some town-sponsored events were in there, the Brews and Tunes, Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies, Jonesborough Days, and then the Easter extravaganza was in there, so. And also another agreement with the Little League for the concession stand for this season this year. All right, now we'll move into our regular agenda. First item is our financial report. Things look pretty good, but Alderman, what's your pleasure?
You mean the new and improved financial?
I know, that was impressive. Yep,
Uh,
it was thicker, but it was impressive what was in there.
I had a sidebar with Madam Recorder before the meeting to first of all compliment this effort, and thank you, Janet. I know that you have been in the process of changing over systems, and I'm sure the completeness of this is somewhat a byproduct of that, but also a byproduct of your professionalism. But ask for maybe for my own benefit, a page that might summarize and dumb it down a little bit. And Janet has agreed to very graciously provide us that dashboard, so to speak.
Abbreviated version?
Well, just the quick glance version, then you can get into it deeper.
This is what Alderman Willis talked about. It's a lot to read.
I married an accountant, so I wouldn't have to be one. And I admire, Janet, everything that you do, and thank you very, very, very much for your efforts.
Well, this is what I added, so.
So how goes the financial ship of state for the town?
It's growing. I did try to put together like a regular financial format. I believe all this detail you were accustomed to getting before. It's not something I was accustomed to providing before. So I did give you some summary information. I am accustomed to providing a commentary, so I'm gonna be moving more and more toward a traditional financial packet. And you can take away and add to as you wish. If you don't wanna see all these details that you were accustomed to seeing for ever how many years, I'm happy to take those out. The new system does double-spaced things as opposed to the old system, single-spaced, so that's why it's thicker.
Thicker, right.
The double-spaced versus single, and I
Right.
can't control that. I did leave at your place tonight the sales tax information, so I would urge you,
Right.
as we move into budget, to really
Yep.
study that.
Yep.
We'll be talking about that more in the coming weeks. Property taxes are coming in pretty good. So, yeah, we'll be talking about budget real soon. I would like to, I talked to the town administrator, I think today, about something I would request that we incorporate into our agenda items, which has been helpful in my past, is that when we make a purchase or obligate ourselves financially, that we would also designate a funding source. Funding source could be it's in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
The funding source could be we have a new grant.
Mm-hmm.
The funding source could be we don't have it in the budget. We don't have a new grant. We're gonna take it from fund balance. So that would be helpful, I think, in managing the town, for
Is that-
Glenn and
Is that done through
And then-
purchasing or through agenda presentation?
agenda presentation.
Okay.
So we just require it as part of the packet where it says background recommendation, somewhere in there, funding source.
Right.
And that way, we know if we need them in the budget, if we're just gonna have to shake the money tree or what we're gonna do, so
Okay.
that would be helpful. But anyway, that's a request, for sometime in the future.
I think we've always relied on Virginia to ask that question.
Well,
And I really do try and pay attention to that.
Well, maybe it's
All
just,
joking aside.
maybe it's just an additional heading that appears at the bottom of each agenda presentation, says funding source, and then colon, and then you list it instead of, so, I mean, I've missed things before too, so.
well, sometimes that's gonna be probably, see us put that kind of back,
Yeah,
slap me if
Yeah.
I'm out of line, put back
You're too
on,
far away.
on you. So, so like, you know, if there's something we need to do as a town, it's not in the budget, we may kind of look at you for some direction on,
Got it,
Where to take
okay,
got it,
do you want us to just take this from the savings account?
right, got it.
Anyway, that's all I had to say, but I appreciate your all's support.
that's a
Yep.
common sense things to do, so we'll.
Well,
I do like the idea as a header, just a.
Yeah, just an additional
Yeah.
header that's a template
Yeah.
kind of header. Well, it's obvious that, you know, sales tax is not continuing the growth that we had seen. The flood last year certainly did not help. But the degree of which, of change has lessened and lessened and lessened, so that's a good thing. But I think the national outlook as well as the local outlook for continued double-digit growth is just not there in terms of revenue from sales tax for the next year especially.
Yeah. I think did we budget 3.5% or 4%? Is that on the sales tax, 3%?
Well,
Three.
we budgeted 3% on top of the projection, but we didn't make projection. So it's a 5.86%.
Okay. Right now, we're sitting about flat on sales tax collection. Last month, actually, or the last month of the period was pretty solid at a 4% gain, which is probably more traditional. We'll hope that in January, February, we've got some opportunity there, hopefully to make up some ground there.
Spend some money.
Well,
Yep, yep.
look at the line around Wendy's.
I know.
There you go.
And you still see lines at Cookout and everywhere else too, so, yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
Red lighters.
All right. Alderman, can I get a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
I'll second, Mayor.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon. Alderman Moore.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, next item on the agenda is the communication from myself, and first item there is we've got some committee appointments to our Historic Zoning Commission. Alderman, you can see the two nominations there, and they've been vetted by Mr. Kennedy, I think, pretty aggressively, and Colton and Matt are both here tonight, so,
Are either one of them here?
yeah, they're both right down there.
Hey, guys, welcome. Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They both got great background in construction, and so we're excited about having you as part of the Historic Zoning Board, so. Alderman,
I make a motion, we approve these two gentlemen as presented.
I got a motion to approve from Alderman Woods,
Second.
got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
Aye.
All right, we got two new members, so again, thank you, guys.
Mayor, can I just interject a little bit?
Yes.
Based on the sound and stuff, we are working on a package to bring before you with a funding source
For the,
improving our audio and stuff. I promise.
Yay.
Both Mitchell and I have been working on it for the last 2 months. We're on.
was that a sound effect?
Is that a mock drop after that? I think it's one of those, like, come up with a funding source now.
Yeah.
It was thunder.
If,
I've always heard that was because of something in the ceiling in the back, but that can't be.
oh no, that's
No.
Mitchell in the break room.
Yeah. All right. Couple of little things before I get into Employee of the Month. Just reading through the packet, one thing I was really impressed with was reading that we're going to have a greenhouse built down at the Persimmon Ridge Park, which can be a great little addition. So I'm excited about reading about that. And Kelly was
Looks
talking.
good. It looks really good.
Does it? Yeah. And Kelly was talking about the Jackson Theater and how important it is, and just looking through, Amber always does a great job of doing a great write-up, but I like the fact that we've had many shows down there with sellouts, and looking through the attendance records there, it's really, really solid numbers, and really just as young as we are, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't, but we've had more successes down there. Riders in the Sky was a big sellout, and so excited about the potential of that facility down there. And I want to appreciate, I'm sure Jim had a big play in this, Craig and Glenn, and I think Kelly was involved some. Goes back to his tenure as mayor, I think, trying to get this alley on East Main Street taken care of. It separates where the old barrel house used to be and the Christmas store. And we've took ownership of that alley now, and going to be looking to make improvements to it. And that'll be a much safer alley going forward than what we have today. So appreciate everybody's work on that.
That was Alderman Wolf, not me.
All right.
I'll recuse from that as well.
Well, I think it listed somewhere, and of all the different owners of that, you had to get agreements from 11 people you had to get on board before the town could really safely say we own it and we can work on it. So appreciate that. Okay. Got a couple more things. One is Employee of the Month. I got Morgan Rogers. Is Morgan here?
Come on, keep coming.
All right. I'll let you hold that while I read this. I would like to nominate Morgan Rogers for Employee of the Month. Morgan works as an options counselor for the Senior Center and has worked for the town for 4 years. Morgan assists seniors with services in their home, Meals on Wheels, and works to help keep them independent as long as possible. Her job takes her all over Washington and Unicoi County, and she is a champion for the underprivileged. Her heart is so ready to help and give back to her community. She does an excellent job working with different agencies to secure services and resources for seniors in need. She helps with getting individuals additional food through partnerships with the First Tennessee Area Agency on Aging and Disability, the Human Resource Agency, Good Samaritan, Neighborhood Service Center, and area churches. Morgan is a great help at the Senior Center as well, always the first to help at the front desk, in the kitchen with meals, or when volunteers can't deliver meals, she is happy to deliver. Morgan has a can-do attitude, takes every opportunity to help any seniors she can. After the flooding, when the Senior Center collected food, Morgan helped with the collection every day and helped deliver food to various churches. The work Morgan does can be very difficult, but in some of the homes situations in our area can be discouraging, and she handles it with grace, always showing the utmost respect for those she works with and realizes that the limitations of certain situations. She takes all that in stride and works hard to change the things she can. Recently, when talking with the staff about their goals for 2025, Morgan shared that her goals were for the Senior Center to provide more outreach to Bethel housing, to have some specific events for the residents. She has an idea to use some of the benevolence funding that we raised from the Christmas trees at Lincoln Park to help the residents of Bethel housing. In February, Morgan completed Understanding Dementia training seminar to stay current on the best practices in working most effectively with individuals and their families dealing with dementia. The Senior Center received a large number of adult briefs that were donated to our center, and Morgan worked very hard contacting various agencies to get them to folks in need. I appreciate that Morgan always works diligently to get resources to those most in need. I could not be prouder of Morgan and the heart she has for our area seniors. She is an advocate and a champion of people in need. And that was by Mary Reagan. So, thank you. Anything you'd like to share with us?
I just like to thank my Senior Center team, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do daily. So
God's work, I guess. And so
Yes,
we
I try to.
appreciate that. And get Tom in here. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you.
We got an Arbor Day proclamation. We got the Tree and Townscape Board here.
Come on, let's go
Anybody
around.
like to-
You just thought you were going back.
Up there, Terry. All right, I'll read this to Terry. All right. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture for a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heat and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and beautify our community. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of area businesses, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the town of Jonesborough has been recognized as Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting practices. We've been doing that for a long time. Now, therefore, I, Chuck Vest, Mayor of the town of Jonesborough, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as the Arbor Day celebration at 6 p.m. at Stage Road Park. As the kickoff ceremony for Arbor Day in the town of Jonesborough, I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day, to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and join us at the town's tree planting ceremony. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. So let's plant some trees and appreciate them. All right, Alderman, that's all I've got. We'll move into citizens' comments. And Ashley, you're up first. I think you want to talk about one of our services.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen, and women. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I live at 216 Spring Street. As Jonesborough continues to grow, so do the challenges we face in waste management. With more residents moving in, our landfill costs are rising, and so are the fees that taxpayers are burdened with. Yet, despite this increase we received, we still lack a structured, cost-effective curbside recycling program that could help offset these expenses and reduce waste. Recycling isn't just about being environmentally responsible, it's about being financially smart. Other towns our size have successfully implemented programs that cut disposal costs and extend landfill life. Instead of paying more to dump our waste, we could be investing in a system that saves money in the long run. Additionally, with the prison labor programs back since COVID, we have an opportunity to implement a curbside recycling initiative that benefits both the town and those involved in the labor system. We did this before, why can't we do it again? Other municipalities have used similar work programs effectively, lowering operational costs while providing skill-building opportunities. Now is the time to act, given that you are forming the budget. Our town is growing, fees are increasing, and solutions are within reach. A curbside recycling program would not only ease financial strain, but also show that Jonesborough is forward-thinking and responsible, which I believe we have always paved the way in being just that. I urge this board to prioritize a plan that benefits both our residents and our budget. Thank you for your time, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't think Frank Collins is here, is he? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Matthew Paul, I think you want to talk about First Frontier Trail. Good subject.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, board. My name is Matthew Paul, and I live at 126 Sarah's Way. And I first wanted to just say that I've lived in a couple places in the South, and I seem to find my way coming back to Jonesborough. I grew up in a very small town, and so it feels like kind of coming home for me. And one of my favorite things to do is to take a walk or a bike on the Lost State Trail. So it goes, from Mill Spring Park all the way up to Persimmon Ridge. And if you want some exercise, try biking up that hill to Persimmon Ridge.
Amen to that.
So I want to say that I am so excited to see that we are seeking for money to do the First Frontier Trail and the local park and recreation funds. It's really cool to see such a small town be so forward-thinking, just like she mentioned, on looking for this money in ways that other municipalities aren't. And so despite us having a much smaller budget, we seem to be able to get a lot more done with it. So I wanted to kind of talk about the First Frontier Trail for the people who may not know. That's the trail that's going to go from the end of the Tweetsie Trail in Johnson City all the way into Jonesborough and connect to the Lost State Trail. I think that's going to be really important for us because of all the festivals that Jonesborough has. And the one that I think of a lot is the International Storytelling Festival. If you try to find parking anywhere close to Jonesborough around that festival, you're not going to. I know we're looking at buses and things trying to figure out how to alleviate some of that. Adding this trail, that's a 20-minute bike ride, so people can come in from the country, stay in Johnson City, and bike over to Jonesborough. What that will do is that it will allow people to feel refreshed when they get there, and it will also take their cars off the road to make room for someone else to come in. And then I want to talk about the local park and recreation fund. So I found a statistic that said that $1 spent on active transportation, so that's walking, biking, anything like that, saves us $3 in direct healthcare costs just because we're healthier. And then another one I found was that in 1969, 41% of children walked to school, so that's almost half. Now it's 13% and has fallen a lot. I was one of those kids that did not walk to school. I lived less than 1 mile from my school, but because we didn't have sidewalks, I kind of just stayed at the house. I struggled to find ways to get exercise, to meet my fellow classmates for fun outside of school or inside school, just because it had to have a car to get somewhere. I had to get play dates scheduled and things like that. I am so happy that you guys are looking at adding trail system to the new school and to Tiger Park, because I want our children today to have that opportunity to go to school, to feel what it's like to be able to make exercise a part of your daily routine. I also think it's really great that we've paired it with Tiger Park, because not only are they used to walking to school or to biking to school through walking buses or biking buses, they know that this is a place that they can go be safe and have fun with their friends. So thank you so much for looking forward and for really seeking out these grants to bring the First Frontier Trail and the trail to the school. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
I'll say real quick that, and Adam, touched on it when we was talking about the impact that Jimmy Neal Smith had on our town, and it started many, many decades ago of working with the state and working with the federal government to secure grants to alleviate flooding downtown and just all kinds of different things, and really, I think one of the largest projects we ever had was during Kelly's tenure as mayor when we expanded and basically saved the wastewater treatment plants. Kelly was able during his term to secure a ton of funding for that to allow us to do that, and I think that kind of spurred some of the success we've had ever since. If you don't have a wastewater treatment system, your growth is just going to dry up, and I know those contacts and connections made during Kelly's tenure has continued to pay off, and when you get good relationships with your state, those things happen. Kelly, I know would you like to touch on this trail system? I know.
When you're the oldest town in the state, chances are you've got the oldest infrastructure in the state. Goes to figure. And they just didn't build sidewalks back then that were very practical. A lot of times they were wooden. And then a lot of times you had all this work done to elevate and reduce and do grade crossing work, where everything anybody had done got blown out of the water when they came in and made all the roads line up, so you didn't have a steep incline before you got on a new street. So this has been something. I grew up running up and down these streets. Sometimes I was in the road. tried to be on the sidewalk.
You could ride your bikes in the road.
You
yeah,
could ride
yeah,
your bike.
yes,
You wouldn't
I
get
did,
killed.
yeah.
But you mentioned your storytelling. At storytelling time, you'll see dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people walking up and down East Main Street.
Mhm.
That's dangerous. And there's cars coming both ways by. That's dangerous. And I'm proud of the fact that we've gotten that walk done up the Headtown Road, Forest Drive. That's a huge, well, now all the way to Headtown. That's a big, 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 big deal. And, you know, one of the things that I said when I was involuntarily drafted to come back and be a part of this body, Virginia calls him, was that I wanted to spend a lot of the time that I had on here helping develop a network of sidewalks, because pedestrian access is a very important part of a vibrant community, and pedestrian access and walking means you're going to encounter somebody on the trail. It helps you socialize. It helps build community. You can have events around these trails. You can tie neighborhoods together. And that's really what we're doing. We're tying neighborhoods together with this stuff. We've got an LPRF grant here on the agenda tonight, and I know that's what you were speaking to. That'll be the connection between our city limits and Sunny Slopes. And we've got the money, thanks to the Governor Bill Lee, to go all the way to our city limits with a trail. This LPRF grant, that's right, Mark, you're going to have a sidewalk in front of your house. This grant then will get us in the county portion, and then, cross your fingers, I think it's in the budget that Johnson City will have then enough for Sunny Slopes all the way to the VA. What that means, folks, is you can have somebody Persimmon Ridge Park get on a bicycle or start walking and end up in Hampton. Now, I don't think I want to do that. But if you were of a mind to do that, you could do it. That's pretty dang impressive. And so, you know, you think about that, and you think about the new school, Tiger Park. There's going to be a connection to tie all that in to our downtown, which will put you on this trail. The Boones Creek Road area over here, get my towards right. Boones Creek Road over here, it'll be tied in eventually through the new school. You've got subdivisions being built where there's requirements now that sidewalks go in. Those can all be tied together. You know, we're behind on pedestrian infrastructure, but this trunk network that we're establishing, you know, there's a little sidewalk going out Headtown. You'll be able to walk to Starbucks, woohoo, or Lowe's, whatever you want to do. But eventually, we'll be able to cross 11E at a light and tie in all those neighborhoods. It's a really, really cool thing, and it's something that it's hard to put a value on that over the next 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. That was a very, very long-winded way of saying I agree with you. But anyway. All right.
Well, and I'll say it helps when you do get these grants and you do great things with them. We got, you know, the grant for Lincoln Park, and when you have the state reps come in and they see what you did with the money they granted you, and they're so tickled with it, and then you see what we've done at Tiger Park, it just makes it so much easier when you come back and ask for something again. And again, this is taxpayer dollars coming back to our community, and this kind of successful thing that our staff kind of puts into play, it helps, you know, reap benefits into the future. And this trail system, I guess, it started probably even before Kelly's time, but it's accelerating, and at some point you're going to see it all tie together, like Kelly mentioned. All right, that's our citizens' comments, and we'll move into Alderman comments. Alderman, anything you wish to share, Virginia?
We had a wonderful event Saturday downtown.
Were you serving brownies down there, making desserts and stuff?
Greenwood.
My granddaughter had a
Yeah.
booth, and she did excellent.
Very good.
We almost sold out.
I was working, but I saw on the video it was a good crowd down
Yeah.
there.
All I can say is it was a great crowd. I bet you we had a couple thousand people cameo. I want us to think about maybe giving them a little longer show next time. We may have to promote that parade a little bit more. We were at the tail end in my truck, and I heard more of, is that all? Where's the rest of it? And I thought, well, hey, it's only the second year. We've grown, so it's going great.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful job, Camille. Wonderful job. Thank you for that. But I think we could juice the entries next year and get us some more, and even have a bigger crowd. So, but it was awesome. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. You done?
You're done with yours now.
Hey, I did want to comment on one other thing.
Oh, my word.
Well, just Craig's report that we did on the consent agenda. He's dealing with a geothermal heat and air system at the Storytelling Center. Funny, we've got Michael here. Hello, Michael, Director of Storytelling tonight. Would you like to have heat and air that works, sir, and you're upstairs? That'd be great. I just wanted to applaud Craig for running in circles on this thing, because it's like you're chasing your tail a little bit trying to get it fixed. Sounds like you finally got it dialed in, though. Between thinking we'd have to convert it to going back and having an engineering firm look at it and figuring out actually what size it is and having a plan. I just wanted to say good job on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this engineer, Alderman Wolf, our good friend
Yep.
Travis White with
Yep.
GRC,
Yep.
I reached out to him
Yep.
for a recommendation for a local mechanical engineer, and
Yep.
he actually came down and spent a couple of hours doing a walkthrough of that building with me at no charge. And what I really like is about this is, hey, I'm not an HVAC expert by
You're
any
learning.
stretch,
You're learning.
especially on a geothermal side, but what I liked about their proposal is the fact that they will draft the specs for the town to send out for a bid, then they'll review the specs, they'll work us through the contract, and then they'll do the oversight on the installation. I mean, we couldn't ask for any better than that.
That is a unique type of system.
Yes.
Every one of them's a little different. It's like buying a plasma TV. Next year it's out of date.
Yes, sir.
They've got a newer model with new software, and go get the new one. Well, not with a heat and air system. So it's the whole thing will have to be replaced, I'm sure. But you've got your wells, and you might as well use them. So
Well, and he said surprisingly, the geothermal part of it was a very simple operation, but one of the things that concerns you looking back, of course, those systems in there are old. But he said when you're running a geothermal heat pump system, that pressure is 90% of it. And he said a lot of these HVAC contractors don't understand, if they're working on this unit and maybe they cut the water pressure off to it, then it sends that pressure throughout the system and wreaks havoc on the system. So another thing that he suggested was basically an equalizer
Right.
that would prevent that from ever happening again in the future as well.
I read your report, thought it was great.
Yeah.
Proud of the pursuit of a solution, and look forward to having one presented. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of Michael, welcome tonight. Hop up here a second if you don't care. I just wanted to say thank you for the job you're doing. I did not
Thank you,
realize that you'd been injured in the line of duty.
Yes, sir. I was probably riding when I should have been riding, but it helps me to de-stress. So
That's good.
It's great
That's
to be
good.
here, and
Well-
just want to thank all of you, Chuck, Mr. Mayor, and the alderman for just welcoming me, and everyone here for welcoming me. And it's been a real great. I've been here 11 months now, so it's been almost a great first year. And wanted to talk about our founder, Jimmy Neal Smith, who passed away Saturday. And we're still in shock, actually, that he passed away, but we want to celebrate his life and legacy. And one thing, when I've read his bio, and I've only met him once, so I've just heard stories about him, but when you think about everything he was doing at the same time, actually being a teacher and then hearing storytelling on the radio. He heard Jerry Crawl in Mississippi on the radio, and brought storytelling to Jonesborough. In the first festival, we had 60 people. I think in the courthouse, and then in a high school. But he had the vision to name the festival the National Storytelling Festival. So that was, I think, a big accomplishment for Jimmy Neal. But Jimmy Neal worked with many people in the town, with Bob Browning and Bill Kennedy, who was on our board for years, and really saw the festival as a way to develop Jonesborough and to bring tourists to Jonesborough and bring business to Jonesborough, and most importantly, to bring storytelling to Jonesborough. So Jimmy Neal was just incredible. And so we're here to really celebrate Jimmy Neal's legacy, and we'll be planning a celebration of life with Jimmy Neal's sister Jill and his ex-wife Jean later this year with our board. We don't have a date yet, but we're really excited. And at our festival this year, we'll also celebrate Jimmy Neal. We've heard from many storytellers who said they wouldn't be here without Jimmy Neal, particularly Connie Reagan Blake in Asheville, who's attended. She's the only person who's attended every festival since 1973, and she'll be teller in residence this year. And we're really excited. We were on WJHL Channel 11 today. They came to the center to ask us about Jimmy Neal. But I just really wanted to thank everybody, and just to let you know that we will have a celebration of life. We just don't know when yet. So
Thank you. And I wanted to compliment you, Michael, for becoming a part of this community. You can be seen walking home.
yes,
in
at all hours.
Jonesborough. No, I mean, seriously, that's a big deal. For you to make an investment in us, makes us love you even more. And I'm thankful that you chose to live here in Jonesborough and have worked hard to become a part of the community. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I love it, and thank everyone for welcoming me, from all yourself and Chuck and Adam, Terry, Glenn. I've never met Virginia before until tonight, and all of the shopkeepers. We work very closely with Cameo and have many initiatives with the town of Jonesborough and the tourism office. So we thank Cameo for her support. And we see this year as just being a great year. We start story. We actually have our first event April 5th, Brer Rabbit Stories with Sheila Arnold, and we start storytelling live. And then, God willing, we'll have the festival this year. And so we thank everybody for their support.
We better thank your wife, because she's the one that's sharing you, allowing you to be here in Jonesborough with us while she, I guess, takes care of the family back home. So
it's a real blessing. She was here the past 2 weeks, for my surgery, and we love it. And I've been able to do genealogy research. My father was born in Greenville, so I've been here once as a child, but I can trace one side of the family to 1899 and the other side to Millwood, Georgia, to 1850. So
That's awesome.
It's been amazing being here.
That's awesome.
And we want to do more with the town. And we have one announcement. We have weekly sponsorships for our teller in residence. We have 2 sponsors so far, possibly a third, and we're looking for more. So just get in touch with me or Lisa Whaley at our office, and we're working closely with the town of Jonesborough, and we love it. So
Very much.
Thank you.
Kelly. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
Jean, did you have anything else? Terry, Adam?
One request, Mayor, in the consent agenda, we did approve, I think, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and really appreciate T. McLeod for taking that on. I didn't know, since he has taken it on, if folks affiliated with the Veterans Park have been formally appreciated, recognized. But I think people like Marion Light and Pat Wolf and Tom Pardue, they did a really great job, and I just hope that we could put the bug in folks' ear to recognize.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Alderman? All right. Now we'll move into town attorney comments. Jim, what do you have for us?
Mayor, the only thing I need to meet with you all in executive session to discuss pending and potential litigation. I'd like to do that prior to your adjourning in case you need to come back in and add anything to your agenda and act on it.
All right. Very good. All right. Now we'll move into our old business, and Kelly, you can get started now and walking down. We're going to discussion and possible action concerning second and final reading of an ordinance to annex certain property located off Boones Creek Road as part of the reserves at Boones Creek. You better hurry, at least make it down the
I thought he was
steps.
talking about the trails again. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah. All right, we got a, Jim, do we need to do all three of these recommendations together, or is it?
They need to be done separately.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Alderman, as you can see in the agenda presentation there, you got three recommendations. Let's take the recommendation number one, is just to approve the plan of services. I'll take a motion or questions.
I'll move to approve, Mayor.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And the next recommendation, just to basically be annexing that little property into our town. Alderman, what's your pleasure there on recommendation two?
So moved.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Causey.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Final recommendation is basically approve the ordinance zoning the property PRD, and Kelly touched a little bit on that. PRD's a zone that, Jonesborough started, probably decades ago, just allows the town to somewhat get involved in the design of the neighborhood, to require sidewalks, underground utilities, streetlights, and things of that nature. So that really has helped the town over many years. So that's what we're approving now. Alderman, what's your pleasure?
Move to approve, Mayor.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon. Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right. Kelly, you're welcome to join us back again. Now we'll move into our new business. Basically, some event applications here. A discussion and possible action concerning special event application requests. The first one up is Star Wars Days on May the 4th by JAMSA. You can see the recommendation there. Alderman, what's your pleasure?
May the fourth be with you.
All right, got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine. Was that your second?
I'll second it.
All right, got a second from Alderman Wolf. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next special event is the 2025 Garden Tour and Tea. Alderman, you can see the recommendation there is to approve.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
I'll
Got a
second.
second from Alderman Countermine.
That'll work too.
Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
That motion carried. And last one here is a great event every year, the Farm to Table Dinner by Jonesborough Locally Grown. Alderman, you can see the recommendation there.
Move to approve.
We better approve that one. Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
I'll second.
Second from Alderman Wolf. All right, any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, now we'll move into item B, discussion and possible action concerning an outdoor use permit renewal application. And got one there from Main Street Cafe. Alderman, what's your pleasure there?
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey.
Second.
A second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Next item is discussion and possible action concerning wetlands water park 2025 season. This will be their menu pricing. Everything seems to be in order there. Alderman, what's your pleasure on that?
Move to approve, Mayor.
All right, Alderman Dixon approves of the menu.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, and now we're going to talk about their birthday party package pricing. As you can see there, Alderman, recommendation is to approve that price, which would be a cost of, what, $350, which seems reasonable.
Is that gonna bring in more birthdays, Chris?
I sure hope so, yes, sir.
That's good. I like the initiative. Let's see what we
Yep.
can do.
All right, is that a motion to approve?
Sure, I'll
Oh.
make a motion we approve.
All right, got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried, so get your birthday parties planned. We'll take them at Wetlands. All right, next up is discussion and possible action concerning the East Main Street alley repair. We touched on that a little bit. Alderman, what's your pleasure there, please?
So this will involve just two properties. One's on either side of the alley, correct?
That I can determine. We know for sure that there's two coal chutes there that
Yep.
very well may require us having to go on their premises
Yep.
to fix. So,
I looked at them with your guys. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to.
yeah.
But do we, okay. Do we make this thing open-ended up enough? Proof to town staff to work with, on private property at 117 and 119 East Main Street, or any other properties as may be necessary. Can we do, is that okay, Glenn, with you? The only thing I'm thinking is the wall back there in the back, that intrudes on the alley, there's a, whatchamacallit? It's on, the alley's got a wall on it.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be on it, so.
And again,
Yep.
Alderman Wolf, I know you realize, and maybe this is a Mr. Wheeler question. We can't put employees on private property
Absolutely.
without the board.
No, absolutely.
So, I mean, if it's okay to include, or the other properties,
Yep. Yep.
I'm okay with that as long as it's, we would still have to have
Get a waiver
them
signed.
sign
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
agreement.
As may be necessary.
Yes.
Yeah,
That gives us more flexibility there. so
yeah,
it's-
yeah. So I'd make a motion. Is that okay, Jim?
There's one thing we need to add. It's really not just board approval, but the board needs to find that it is in the public interest for them to do that. That is not in the agenda presentation. That's a technical thing, but it is important. And that is the real key, is that the board has found that it's in the public's interest for this project to move forward. So I would just ask that your motion include that the board finds that.
Okay, I would make the following motion, that we approve the staff recommendation as presented with additional language, or other properties as may be necessary, and that we note for the record that we find as a board that the public interest is served by this alley being improved. Is that good enough, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Very good.
All right, we got a motion to approve as noted there by Alderman Wolf.
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Now call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye. And for the record, this was the alley that Dr. Kennedy talked about in November when we met
Yeah.
at the Jackson Theater. It's been on the burner for 4 years, 5. So it's been simmering for a while. And the great news is, if this thing can come to fruition like we think it can, then another good, very well-run, quality, local restaurant will potentially open downtown as a result. So this was one of the criteria for that to happen. So there's a motive here that will serve economic development, sales tax revenue, all kinds of good things.
And prevent some accidents. We've had people complain about
Correct.
trips and falls there forever,
Yes.
so yes.
It is dangerous.
Yep.
There's no question.
All right.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a loan resolution number 2025-04. It's a USDA rural development for the Jackson Theater project. And you can see that's just putting a resolution together, Alderman. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Wolf. Second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Next item is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a utility asset management agreement. Appreciate Glenn and Craig and them putting this together, but
I want to say something on this, if you'll allow me to. Shocker, I know. This is exactly the kind of thing that we need to be doing as a small town, as a municipality, facing budget issues, facing manpower issues, facing aging out of our workforce, facing pressures from everybody who can pay $1 more an hour and take your key people. This is an investment in technology. Glenn has preached this. Amen, Glenn. This is a great thing for us to be investing in, and it will work townwide to help us function better on everything from potholes to finding water meters to knowing where a sewer tap's located to helping someone call in a road improvement, get a brush pickup, you name it, everything imaginable. This is an all-encompassing piece of software that multiple departments across multiple divisions can use. And this is the future. When people talk about making government more efficient and making government more efficiently run, this is the kind of tool that enables you to do that. Artie, sitting back there, can tell you that for decades, and that's not an exaggeration, and decades before that even, the computers in town involved a lot of smart people who are really dedicated using their noggins. And they knew where everything was, knew how everything had been done, and kept up with it, and they might work for the town 20, 30, 40 years, and that was the institutional memory. Well, those days are gone. People don't spend 40 years typically in a one spot. They move around, or they do something else, or they have something happen in their life that makes them evaluate what they're doing. They want to go somewhere else, be somewhere else. We're far more transient as a population. We stay in jobs far less. There's more competition for talent. People get poached. People leave. This is your institutional memory, people. This is how you make sure the wheels don't come off when one person leaves. And it's a big, big, big deal. So, Glenn, thank you for your insistence from day one that we focus on technology, because I agree with you completely.
is that your motion?
Add the Virginia clause.
And the Virginia clause is even in here already.
How to fund the project.
Proactive, yes.
Yeah.
In two places.
I've talked to you.
But
Listen.
but I would make a motion, we approve this as presented.
Very good. We got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf. Got a
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? I will say, we got more to keep track of now than we did 40 years ago. So
It's
it'd be about
unbelievable.
impossible for anybody to
It's
do it nowadays.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're 10 times bigger than we were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All
Well,
right.
maybe 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And now Artie's relieved. He don't have to remember where everything is now.
Let's go download it, Artie.
That's why we wouldn't let him retire. He said, no, you know where everything is. You've got to stay. All right, next, discussion and possible action concerning approval of the initial resolution for the water treatment plant upgrade project. And of course, that just continues to move along, and this is a resolution that we just need to pass. So, board,
To begin the process with USDA.
getting some money.
This is part of our duty to this community, is to provide safe, quality drinking water. And this loan resolution and our partnership with USDA is very, very, very critical for that to continue to move forward. We recently got news of $1 million grant for generators for our intake, for our water plant, and for our Rockhouse Road pump station. That's a big deal in terms of stability. The county has initiated working with us on a project that would perhaps double our water storage capacity on Persimmon Ridge to 6 million gallons from 3. ginormous in its implications. And then you get a new plant fired up that can produce 8 million gallons a day. Doggone, that's good. That is really, really, really good. So we think that this and the transmission line are going to get us where we need to be. And that'll be planning for the future, preparing for the future, and able to serve the future.
Can't get here soon enough either. So.
I know.
All right.
Government moves slow.
Is that your motion?
Why not? I'll make the motion we approve as presented.
All right. Got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf. Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman. Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried, and just kind of touching on that, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a full resolution for the water treatment plant upgrade project. I get a motion, you might as well take a motion for that.
I've done too much.
Alderman, what's your pleasure on that? I'll take a motion.
Didn't know you could do that.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, that was our last item. Oh, no, we're not adjourning.
We're not done.
We're not adjourning. We're gonna,
One more,
Back
the
up.
LPRF.
Take that back. I didn't hear a thing.
what did I miss?
You got the LPRF?
The walkway.
Where's that at?
It was the additional
Ah.
agenda item.
All right.
There you go.
Pass this down to, thank you.
All right. Got a resolution of a 2025 Local Parks and Recreation Fund grant application. Alderman, you can see our recommendation in there is to approve that resolution authorizing the town of Jonesborough to apply for this grant.
So this is in conjunction with Washington County.
Yep.
Was in Nashville recently with county mayor, and we met with the folks from TDEC, and feel pretty good about this grant. Asked for some help in getting it approved, think it probably will be. This grant, as we said before, would represent the connection between our city limits and Sunny Slopes, which is Johnson City's city limits, and it would also help us create a trailhead at the middle school on the side of the current football field and track, restrooms, vending, potentially machines, and maybe even a bike pump track behind said facility. So parking area, trailhead, connection to the trail there, pretty cool stuff. And the county, I think, is to be thanked, county mayor to be thanked for their belief in this project. Mayor Grandy walks the halls of the state capitol with always a great welcome and a great response. He's very well received and is very well respected. And he's a huge promoter of this project, and we owe him a large debt of gratitude. He's doing a very good job with this.
Very good.
Very good.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Wolf. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Counterman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, now we're gonna go into executive session, and we might or might not be back. We'll see how that goes.
I hope we come back.
We don't think we will. We'll come back and adjourn.
Yeah, I hope Jim don't kill us.
She's got them too.
All right, anybody got anything they want to take action on?
Nope, I move we
If not,
adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
You all can, you're free to go home.
All right.